All right, so we have multiplied. It is time to divide, and I gotta tell you, dividing looks like distribution. In the same way that when we divided 15 by 3, we made 3 piles of 5, and we said 15 divided by 3 is 5. The same sort of thing happens here. So we suppose that a serving is half of a cookie. That's a serving. So how many servings can you make from 5 cookies? Well, I hope that you figured out. I hope you figured out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I hope you figured that out. I hope that you can explain that to a small child. That 5 divided by 1/2 is in fact 10. Now, I know that you know the machinery. I know that you know, okay, the opposite of division is multiplication, and the opposite of 1/2 is 2 over 1, and that's 10. Like, I know that you know that. But I'm not interested in do you know that as much as I'm interested in can you explain to a small child that if the serving size is half a cookie, there's a serving, there's a serving, there's a serving, there's 10 servings. That's the thing I'm interested in. And I'm sure that you went ahead and said, oh, look, there are servings, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 20. There are 20. 5 divided by 1/4 is 20. I hope that you were able to do that. So then things get a little bit weirder because now you're thinking, well, wait a second here. What is 5 divided by 3/4? And you're like, well, I don't know how that works. I know that division turns to multiplication and we take a reciprocal, and so we get 20/3. And 20/3, that's 6 2/3. Where are 6 2/3 servings? Where are they? Well, that's 1 serving. That's 2 servings. That's 3 servings. But wait a minute. That's 4 servings, right? Quarter of a cookie, quarter of a cookie, quarter of a cookie. That's 3/4 of a cookie. That's 5 servings. That's 6 servings. And that's left over. So what is this? Well, this is 2/3 of a serving because 3/3 was a serving. So this is 2/3 of a serving. That's your 2/3. And you can explain that to a small child, right? You can explain that. In fact, I'll leave this for you to consider. Draw in the servings. So here's an interesting situation. This is 3/4 of a cookie, but the serving size is half a cookie. So that's a serving. Well, what's that? That's half of a serving. So it would appear that 3/4 of a cookie divided by a serving size of half a cookie is 1.5 servings. It would appear that that is the case. And I would hope that you'd be able to explain that to a small child. That's half a serving. Now, you know the machinery. You know multiply by the reciprocal and gets the answer. But you can see the number of servings. Here, this would be a serving. This right here would be a serving. So we don't have a full serving. How much of a serving do we have? Well, it appears that we have 1, 2, 3/4 of a serving. It appears that 3/8 of a cookie divided by a serving size of half a cookie is 3/4 of a serving. You can see that here. 1, 2, 3 out of the 4. 3/4 of a serving. And you know the machinery, multiply by a reciprocal, and you can get the answer that way too, but you can see the serving sitting right there. What can I do here? I'll do one other. I'll look at this thing right here. I'm looking at this thing right here. So we suppose that a whole serving is 3/4 of a cookie. So this would be a serving. This would be a serving. How many servings can you make from half a cookie? In other words, if you have half a cookie and you divide by 3/4 of a 3/4 of a cookie is the serving size, then what is this? So you can take a moment and you can do the multiply by a reciprocal and figure that out and say, okay, I have the answer. But do you see the answer here? What portion of this serving is shaded? And it appears that 2 out of 3 sections are shaded. It appears that 2/3 of a serving is shaded. So that's what I want you to be able to do. I want you to be able not just to run through the machinery, oh yeah, times 4/3, multiply, multiply. I want you to be able to see that in the serving size, you can see, oh yeah, that's 2/3 of a serving. Okay, so super important for you to know, having done this worksheet and having even done the questions that I did not do, super important for you to know. You want to know how to do the machinery, but you also want to know why the machinery works. Can you draw those pictures for a small child? I hope so. I'll see you soon. Till our paths cross again.